Ladies and gentlemen, stand by for a live coming from Tobago, Tommy Joseph, the concert for the veteran comedian. Yeah, so Kenny Phillips is adjudicating and they're getting ready. So have some patience. In a short, we will be going live to Tobago.
Okay, I think somebody's on going to Tobago. That sounds fun. Ricky with Bopsa. Hi, Ricky. Good to see you again.
Hello.
Nice. You you can either stay on mute or you can come off mute, show your face, or you can just stay on audio, or if you just want to share. We're just going to wait a few minutes for everyone to get trickled in because I know some people are coming from work.
Okay, I'll just stay here. I'll just chill out till everything gets kicking.
All right.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Paula, did you enjoy? Oh, you're still on mute, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Good for you. Good for you. Awesome.
Grilled.
Yes. And where are you coming in from, Paula? Where are you calling from? Texas?
Yes, Dallas.
Dallas. All right. Hey, Dallas in the house. And Mrs. T or Miss T, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from San Jose, California.
Nice.
Yeah. And is I don't know if is Robin Groover on the call? That's so definitely want to say hi and how you doing to her. She's
I don't see her yet, but she may be on, so we definitely will make the connection.
Okay.
We're so glad to have you all here. Thank you for being here. And thank you again for that love. All right. So we have California, St. Clair. She is in the DMV area, I believe, right?
DC, yeah.
DC, okay. All right. Candace, I'm not sure if you're in Cali or if you're in Atlanta right now. And then we have someone from Texas.
We're in LA today.
Oh, look at, hey, we have a young, hey, Sophia. Look at that face. She's like, what's going on?
She likes this, she likes the image, the virtual
graphic.
hair club
Okay.
image.
Nice. All right.
Hi.
Hello, look at all that beautiful hair.
Good job.
Marilyn's in the house. Come on now. So, yeah. It's beautiful hair. Oh my gosh. How old are they? 2 or 3 now?
They're 2.5.
They're 2.5. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, already.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We usually just give a few minutes. So it's 7 minutes past the hour. So we'll get started. My name is Jasmine Bailey, and I am the community manager here at MYAVANA. And this is our virtual haircut community that we have every month, the last Wednesday of each month. So typically we get started. We have a special guest today. I will introduce her shortly. Typically, we get started with something that's a little bit different, but it's a way for us to just check the temperature, and it's actually a community temperature reading. So I am actually going to go to the next. Give me 1 second. The slide is just moving over. It's just moving back and forth. So give me 1 moment. There we have it. Okay, so what you see on the screen here, it actually is called a community temperature reading. And what it is just a way for us to gauge the room. You can do it your personal, professional, but we do it here every month. We've been doing it for the last, I think this is our 3rd month, so that, sometimes if you don't say something out loud, you may never be able to share with somebody what's going on in your world. So I am going to just give an example, and I would like you to either come off mute, You can share your face or just audio, or you can share in the chat. We're going to start with appreciations or excitements. And what it is simply saying is something that you're appreciative for or that you are excited about. And I'll start it off. So I am excited that we get to come here every month and have a connection time with people from all over, as you can see. And I'm excited that I get a chance to connect with people that I've never met before and some people that are coming back. So if that makes sense, again, you can say something that you appreciate or that you're excited about. So any takers? You can do it either in the chat or come off mute.
Oh, this is Paula.
Okay.
I appreciate I'm excited about being here today, my first time.
Mhm.
I was really excited when I saw the topic and the book for this meeting, and I rushed out to buy the book so I could get through pieces of it as much as I could before the meeting. So I'm just excited to be able to connect with some people who have maybe looked at the book too and just experience or discuss or hit on or listen to whatever we might have to share today. So
Amazing. Thank you so much, Paula, for sharing. And thank you, Ricky. I see your note. You appreciate being part of an exciting community. I appreciate that. So if anybody else wants to share, just feel free. You can either come off mute or you can share in the chat. I'll take like maybe one or two more people and then we'll keep moving forward. You can be brave. It doesn't have to be perfect, everybody. Oh, I have somebody in the chat. I'm going to share. This is Nessa. Hey, Nessa. She's excited for Saturday. Her family will be going to a friend's birthday party, and she's excited because it's almost been 2 years since she's been able to interact with them. So she has a baby that's a character, so she's really excited about that. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Nessa. Dana, you appreciate creating a safe space and supportive community for us to share our experiences. Oh, is somebody, I'm sorry, did I talk over somebody? I'm sorry. Did anybody want to say something? Okay, no problem. Yeah, thank you, Dana. This is that place where you can come and be supported and, feel safe. So thank you for sharing that. And Miss Smith, you're in Toronto and you're excited to be here. So here, that literally is what this is all about. I put the graphic in the chat if you want to download it. You can practice it with yourself, with your family, with anybody. I've done it at work, and it's something to be able to, it's like a conversation starter, but it really, if as long as you keep going up the temperature, it gets deeper into the conversations. Sometimes you don't know what to say, and we're on Zoom. Sometimes it's like, what do we say? But it's a way to get people talking, and not just that, to be able to hear what's going on in people's lives. So there you have it for that. And again, thank you. And you'll be thrilled to know that I'm being brave and not perfect. So I don't know what's going on with my computer right now, but I'm gonna keep going, okay? So again, we have a beautiful guest today, and here at the Virtual Hair Club, we create that safe space for people, for your voice to be heard, to create community, and then we talk about topics that relates to wellness, to natural hair, and then health. So every time that we come, we're going to prepare ourselves to hear St. Clair. So we're going to give a 30-second pause. It's only going to be 30 seconds time. And it's just going to prepare yourself. I don't know what you had coming in. I don't know what's going on in your world, but sometimes we just keep moving and we just keep going. So again, in that mindset of creating a safe space, we're going to just be pausing for just 30 seconds. I'll say a prayer because this is a faith-based led leadership, and this isn't to cause you to be of a different faith, but we do like to set the environment for us to be ready for all the things that are coming. So in 30 seconds, we'll have a pause. Just clear your thoughts, prepare yourself, be present, and then I'll say a prayer, and then I'll introduce the guest speaker. Okay, so 30 seconds. Don't let it scare you. All right, that's it. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for MYAVANA. We thank you for the leaders. We thank you for every person that's present here. We thank you for the lives. I pray that we will be able to engage and listen to a beautiful woman share a beautiful story about beautiful, authentically led, and bravery that she connected with her little sister and connected with other people. So as we come together, I pray that everyone that is here, they will be able to take something away that's meaningful and special to them. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So that simply is set there. And then now, this is why we're all here. I'm actually going to pull it out. So St. Clair, you get ready, ma'am. So here is the book. If everybody can see it, it's also on the screen. This is My Beautiful Black Hair. I'm going to tell you how we came to bring this beautiful young lady on here. I literally was at the library and I was walking, getting another book. I am a book nerd. And I walked past and I saw My Beautiful Black Hair, you know, I just kept walking. I was like, oh, let me see what this beautiful book is about. And I was like, I'm gonna check this book out too. So this is not the library book, everybody. I have bought and purchased this book. So I went through the book. The book is beautiful, beautifully written, and just learned so many different things. So there's an Instagram connection with the author, St. Clair. And I was just like, you know, I'm gonna just tell her, thank you for writing this book. It's a beautiful book. And she messaged back and just said, you're welcome. Thanks so much. And she loved my excitement of reading the book. After that, I was just like, I have a YouTube channel. It's a small YouTube channel. And I asked her if she wouldn't mind coming and sharing about her book. She did. So that is how I'm in connection with St. Clair. In the spirit of safe space, creating a community, I reached out to a woman who shared. I'm gonna let her share the story because I didn't want to share that part of it because the book tells the story. And at the same time, the way that the story came to be, I believe you will be so delighted and blessed to hear how it all came to be. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And here you are, St. Clair. And thank you all, seriously, for giving me the patience, extending grace, because I'm doing this, but I know you're going to enjoy this young lady. So, St. Clair, I'm not going to give your bio because, again, I want you to share the story because I believe the story in of itself shares so much about you and how this all came to be, you know? So what we talked about. So the one question that I had, I said, can you share how the story from the book was birthed and how it came into existence, and however you want to go from there, knock yourself out.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Thank you so much for organizing all of this and for inviting me to be here. And again, just reiterating, thank you to everyone for coming out this evening. It means a lot. And I'm really excited to share this space with you all and to be in community. And also I'm excited to hear your all's stories as well. It's always one of my favorite parts of these kinds of things. And so I guess I'll start, introducing myself. My name is Clair Detrick Jules. I'm an Afro-Caribbean filmmaker, photographer, activist, author from Washington, D.C. And so I'm going to share a little bit about how this book, My Beautiful Black Hair, came to be. And so when I was finishing up my last semester of college, I got a phone call from my dad, who lives in France with my little half siblings. And my dad shared with me that one of my little sisters, Khloe, had come home from school that day crying because she goes to a majority white school, and all of the little white kids at her majority white school had started bullying her because of her afro. And so I'm going to show you all a picture. I think it's important because obviously in a lot of Black families, right, you have all these different hair textures within, even within families, even among siblings. And so I think for Khloe in particular, I really want to show her hair because she really does have this beautiful afro. And so she came home from school one day, just 4 years old, crying to my dad and my stepmom because she was being bullied. And so these kids at her school were telling her that her afro was ugly. They told her that her hair looked like little pieces of shrimp. They called it names. They were just really, really mean to her about her hair. And this was so upsetting to me, right? Because at only 4 years old, these little kids knew that this Black girl's hair was something they could weaponize and use against her, right? And that's how I think deeply rooted white supremacy is, that it starts so early, even in childhood. And so Khloe told my dad and my stepmom that she didn't want to go back to school anymore because she didn't want to be seen with her hair. And so this made me really upset, obviously, because she's my sister and I love her and I don't want her to be sad. It also made me upset because it reminded me of all of the years that I also spent hating my natural hair. And even though I do have a looser curl pattern, and so in some spaces I do have a lot more privilege, I didn't understand that growing up because I went to a majority white elementary school from 1st to 6th grades. And so in that context of the majority white elementary school, almost all the other little kids had straight, all the little girls had long, straight hair. And so I woke up every day feeling really ashamed of my curls. And I really just wanted my hair to look like all of my little white classmates. And so I think that's really a burden that most of us can probably relate to, right? Starting from often a young age, believing that the bodies we're born into aren't enough, and that includes our hair. And so I thought about really the psychological burden that I carried for so long of feeling like my hair wasn't good enough. And there's a metaphor that other people use, and I use it when talking about this in particular, and it has to do with a glass of water. And so if you think about holding a glass of water for a minute, it's not a big deal, right? You can probably do it without much, effort. If you have to hold that glass of water for an hour, your arm might start to feel a little tired. And then if you have to hold that glass of water for a day, your arm is going to be pretty exhausted, right? And then if you have to hold that glass of water year after year after year, the weight of it is going to become almost unbearable, even though it's just this little glass of water. And so this weight, carrying this weight, is what I think about when I think about the burden that so many little Black girls have to carry throughout our lives of thinking that our natural hair isn't good enough and wanting to look like something else. And so I thought about my own experience. I thought about the experiences of most of my Black female friends who also went through periods of really self-hatred when it came to their hair. And I didn't want Khloe to go through a similar experience, right? I wanted to cut that out for her, and I wanted her to know from a very young age that her hair is beautiful and that her hair is something to be loved and valued and appreciated. And so that's how this book came about. And so I wasn't looking to be an author or a photographer or photojournalist. I was just graduating from college. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And this project sort of fell into my lap because I knew that I wanted to give my sister representation. And so I ended up photographing and interviewing 101 Black women and girls about their natural hair journey. And so I asked all of these women how they went natural, when they went natural, why they went natural, how they found that self-love, right? How they kept that self-love, even when people in their communities, people who are supposed to love them, discourage them from wearing their natural hair, right? So people often received negative comments and backlash from classmates, from friends, from colleagues, employers, family members. Sometimes this one woman said that her father stopped talking to her for a few months after she went natural, right? And so I asked all of these women how they learned to continue loving themselves despite all of the negativity around them, and also how they found community with other people who also were working towards being their most authentic selves, whatever that meant to them, right? And creating these sort of uplifting, supportive, and loving communities for one another.
Wow.
So that's what I did.
There is something that I want you to speak on, and then if anybody has a story, or if you want to come off mute too after St. Clair, you answer this, please feel free, because we want you to, like you said, we want to hear your stories as well, and we want to see how you are now either supporter or if you need support. So in your last paragraph in your introduction, I wanted to say this because you said it's not just about hair, it's about how we choose to live our lives. If we take the words of wisdom that these women are offering Khloe, that's your sister, into our lives, then we feel and become indestructible. And one of the the theme was entering Q2, quarter two, brave, not perfect. So when you think about that in your book, it just really connected really well. So how did you see for yourself that you had to become brave into being able to share with your sister to become indestructible?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that it's scary knowing that people are looking up to you, because it can be hard to love ourselves, right? I'm not sure if there's a little, oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I think it's difficult when you have people looking up to you, right? Like when I have my little sister looking up to me, because I do want to be brave, right? I know that I can't be perfect. No one can be perfect, but I want to show her, I want to lead by example, right? And show her what authenticity in a Black woman looks like, in particular, because, you know, my sister's mom is white. She doesn't have any Black female family members to look up to, doesn't really have many Black females at all to look up to, you know, Black women to look up to where she is in Southern France. And so I do really want to be that example for her. And I think that sometimes that's scary, because it's hard to really love yourself, especially as a Black woman living in this world where we're constantly being told that our bodies aren't enough, that our hair isn't enough, right? And so my sister has definitely inspired me in a way to love myself more. And one of the things I realized, I used to straighten my hair for special events, for special occasions, but ever since creating this book, I've made it, I've been very intentional that I haven't ever straightened my hair since I started working on this book. And I think that partly because I never know if maybe one day I'm going to see a little girl on the street who has hair like mine and maybe needs positive affirmation, needs to see someone who looks like her to be affirmed in her own beauty.
That's beautiful. And you mentioned something that's very powerful too, because in our, like you said, there are certain elusive curl patterns. So that's deemed better or prettier. So there's a spectrum of it. So there are voices where some people say, well, your hair is better than mine. Like, so even those conversations, it becomes intimidating, because it's just like the way the society says something or deems something pretty or not. It's like it takes a lot of resolve and just inner work to be able to say, like, my Black hair is beautiful the way that it grows out of my head. So yes, I don't see any questions in the chat. Does anyone have a question for St. Clair? And I'm taking my time with this because, again, we know about hair, like you said, is so much more than hair. So sometimes we have our experiences. You may have a good experience that you want to share with someone, but how has your hair journey and what you've evolved into, how has that shown up? So I'm going to be quiet if anybody wants to either say something in the chat or if you want to come off mute.
Good evening. I wanted to share, well, thank you so much for the book. I look forward to looking at it and reading it. I'm a former educator, so this is near and dear to my heart as well, because you don't see as many books when you go to the library, whether at school or public library. So thank you for doing that. The two things I wanted to bring up is, one is not only when your child goes to a traditionally white school, predominantly white school, but within the Black schools as well. Now, my child was, I remember in kindergarten, first grade, you know, the kids in her class, they were perming their hair. And I never let her have her hair permed. And so that means I didn't do it too. So she's now 30 years old and she's never had her hair permed. Or relaxed, or whatever the correct term is. But so I think that we get that pressure in within our society as well, not just in the predominantly white societies too. So have you come across those discussions or issues as well?
Yeah, I have. I've definitely encountered that. Most of the women who I interviewed in my book at some point did have a perm, and some of them talked about going to predominantly Black schools and still feeling uncomfortable with their natural hair. And even people who had all the, who had a lot of support. One of my good friends who I photographed for the book, she was raised by parents who were very pro-Black, very Afrocentric, and went to a majority Black school and everything. And she still felt self-conscious about her hair because the messaging that straight hair is better is just, it's sort of omnipresent, right? It's all around us. And one example that I think about a lot, because it sort of inspired this kid's book that I'm working on about Black hair, was a story from, a Black woman who I interviewed who shared that one day, when she was younger, she loved her hair just naturally. She thought it was beautiful. And she was really excited one day because she came to the school in a very full afro. And she went to a majority Black school and she was so excited about her afro that day. And she said that when she got there, the other kids at her school who also looked like her, right? They made fun of her and they called her Tree Girl. And so because of that, she became really self-conscious of her hair. And I think it's not, I think it's important to think about how internalized racism functions, right? And these internalized white supremacist beauty standards sometimes cause us to be harmful to people in our own community, right? And so the root cause is white supremacy, but it's just so ingrained in most of us, right? And it takes a long time and a very conscious effort to unlearn all of that.
That's very powerful. Did you have another question? I believe it was Laura. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share? Oh, I see you're on mute. Okay. How many of you would be willing to say that, hello? Okay. How many of you would be willing to say that you have had some type of, you can either raise your hand if you're off camera, or yes, just show an emoji, or you can put it in the chat that you've had some type of story where just what St. Clair said, that you have to like work through the healing part of it. I think sometimes we think like, oh, well, that's just my story. But how many people have been hurt at some point in time? I'm going to raise my hand. Yes. Yes. I see. So one thing that we want to do, this is a hair care company, and I want to circle this around, because the reason why Candace, the founder, co-founder, she created the company is because she had issues with like knowing how to handle her hair and the different things that she could to work with her hair to make it more manageable. So when you think about the story, we all have different stories, and I think I see someone's hands up, and I will get to you. We all have the story where it may not have been the best story, but at the same time, when we think about who we are and where we come from, I want everybody, as we're still listening in this part, just to take a breath in and say, I am beautiful. And you can say I am handsome if you're a gentleman, just the way that I am. And I know that may sound trite, or you may say like, whatever, but just start believing it. Just because what you said, St. Clair, when we've been so ingrained with one thing, we have to pull up that messaging. And I know that may sound like, well, that's not going to do anything. Say it every day, multiple times a day. I guarantee you something will start shifting. So there's something else that you said in the book about, well, you had Dr. Mbilishaka, and she coined and she created psychotherapy. I wanted you to share with people who may not have had the book is that share why you included that, because psychotherapy, it's a term that I want people, I'm going to put it in the chat too. And I'm going to let you share on that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So Dr. Fiambili Shaka is a professor, used to work at UDC, which is, DC's, I guess, state school if we were a state. And so I met her, through connections at UDC, and she is a natural hairstylist, and she's also a trained psychologist. And so in her therapy sessions, in her psychology sessions, she works with everybody, but in particular, when talking to Black women and girls, she offers the opportunity to use hair as an entry point to talking about mental health, because she realizes the impact that our hair has on sort of our psyche, right? And so that's why she does the work that she does. And so there's psychotherapy, and she also does a lot with, her work as a natural hairstylist and connecting sort of people in the Black diaspora. So that's really her passion.
Thank you so much. There was another comment that came in, is that another concern is how to prepare our young men to appreciate young women with natural hair. So I think in the story, in some of the stories, that came out too as a theme.
Yeah, I think I think that is an important piece of the conversation, because when we're talking about beauty standards and desirability, right, I think that sometimes men in our community also have these sort of I would say white supremacist beauty standards that sort of center and prioritize long hair, straight hair, lighter skin over Black women in other bodies. And so I think that's definitely an important piece of the conversation. And this book in particular was really focused on women, but in my conversations that I've had with men, whether it's college students or, at various companies, and they've sometimes talked about the ways that they're trying to support Black women when it comes to natural hair, and when it comes to embracing our own hair. And I do think that this is sort of a side comment, but I think it's really important for Black men to be supportive of the women in our community. And I know that there are a lot of Black men who also have their own hair journeys and have struggled with discrimination in terms of hair. And I think that's a really important piece of the conversation. But I remember when the movie Straight Outta Compton came out, and I'm not sure if people remember this, but there was a casting call that I guess was leaked, and the casting call had these, they were calling for women who were, A, B, C, and D. And the A women had, were light skinned with straight hair, and then, and it was like top tier, the most beautiful, and then all the way down to D women with, dark skin and tighter curl patterns and all of that, right? And this was a movie that was supposed to be, I think, centering Blackness and uplifting Black people. And so I think that was disturbing, because it showed that we still have a long way to go when it comes to being uplifted by Black men. But I also recognize there are a lot of Black men who are very, very supportive, and I really appreciate that.
Most definitely. I like how you really center too the conversation around the real problem, white supremacy, because that's where the root lies. And if you go there, like, we can dig up from there, because it's not each other against each other. It's so ingrained. So we believe the internalized lie. We believe what has been stated, like, your hair is better than my hair, and your curl is better than my curl. Your skin is better than, so I love how you're speaking the truth, and I'll keep reiterating, it takes courage to do that, because it takes courage to go against the grain. It takes courage to say something that's not popular and really is the norm, or so ingrained and institutionalized. People are like, what are you talking about? This is how it is. Like, no, it's how it is, but it's not the best way. Yes, so thank you. You mentioned, and I want to make sure, like, does anybody else have anything? And again, I know that sometimes some conversations you just want to, like, marinate, but I want to leave the floor open for anyone who has another question or who may want to ask St. Clair something specifically about her book, because we'll ask you about your next book in just a little bit. Okay, so I pause specifically because sometimes people feel shy. So I know that that's an awkward silence for some people. So I just pause, like give it 30 seconds because I don't want someone to almost be there and then didn't say anything. So,
I have a question.
okay, perfect.
I'm curious, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but how you got the different people to share their stories in the book. So did you do like a casting call? Did you just talk to people organically? I'm very curious.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question. Definitely not a casting call, and it's not like the women who I interviewed were models. I mean, maybe, 2 or 3 of them have done modeling, but that's not what I was looking for in particular for this book. I just wanted to include all kinds of Black women in all different fields, professions, all different backgrounds. Some of the Black women are from different countries, different cultures, different states. And so I wanted to include a diverse range. And I started by reaching out to my friends and my former classmates and the people in my sort of immediate circle. And then I recruited some of my mom's students because she's a professor at UDC, so it's an HBCU. She got some of her students to join the project. And then I also used social media as a tool. And, Jasmine mentioned this earlier with, making connections through social media, but there were a lot of women who I reached out to be part of this project through social media. And that was really cool because a lot of the women who I asked to join, I didn't know them ahead of time, and they still said yes to being part of this project because, as a lot of them said, they'd been in Khloe's and my sister's shoes before, and they didn't want anybody else to feel the way that they did. And so that was, I think, really affirming to see the power of Black sisterhood.
Beautiful, beautiful. Does anyone else have another question for St. Clair?
I have a question. This is Ricky.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Sinclair, congratulations on planting seeds because it's going to yield a great harvest. Thank you for doing this with the book. Are you going to be doing a follow-up on this book? We have like a sequel or another edition coming out.
Yeah, kind of. So I'm working on a kid's book. I'm working on 2 kids' books right now. So not necessarily an adult list sequel of this book, although at some point I would love to sort of be able to travel internationally and, interview Black women or just Black people in general in different parts of the world about their hair journeys. But for now, I'm working on 2 kids' books about Black kids. So Black girls, Black boys, all genders, about natural hair. And so my first kids' book is called My Hair is Like the Sun, and it's coming out in September. And so that book shows the similarities between natural hair of little Black kids and nature. So earlier I mentioned the woman who was bullied when she was a kid because they told her that her afro looked like a tree. And so that sort of helped inspire this next book, right? And so this next book is photos of Black kids with natural hair, and then paired with illustrations of the sun and the clouds and a river and the ocean and all these different beautiful things in nature that our hair resembles.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question.
And when is your book going to be complete? You said sometime in the fall?
Yeah, so it'll be out September 12th, 2023.
Beautiful. We'll keep people posted. 2023. Okay. Do you see the question, St. Clair?
Yeah, am I open to other writers reaching out with questions? Absolutely. Yeah, I can. Jasmine has my email, and I can also share it in the chat if anybody wants to reach out. It's kind of a long email, so feel free to copy and paste it. But definitely, yeah, absolutely. Anybody can feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to connect.
Beautiful, beautiful. And again, I just want to shout out to St. Clair because, again, that's how I connected with her. So genuinely, like MYAVANA supports the connection and support of women and our hair and our stories and our voices, literally this is who she is, because she didn't know, I didn't know I was going to be on this other side of the table, and this is why we're here. So yes. Candace says she loves the next title of your book, so
Thank you. Thanks,
that's
Candace.
gonna
That's
be
literally
so
how I
exciting.
describe my hair.
That's so
Beautiful.
cool. That is
Beautiful.
Yeah.
beautiful. And that's cool that you have you had what's her name? Sophia?
Yeah, my daughter Sophia.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. Also, I think just having that positive example of self-love is really,
Yeah.
because so many of the
Yes.
women who I
Yeah.
interviewed said that they didn't have people with natural hair to look up to. So that's a gift.
Right. Yeah, we have a good bond right now, and she's always into my hair. And I was telling, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was saying how this generation will be the first generation that grows up embracing their natural hair and loving their natural hair. So they
true.
won't go through that rites of passage that we have with like getting a perm, right? So I'm excited for her to just love every aspect of who she is. And our hair is amazing. It's
Yes.
amazing. So
Yes.
it's like, why did we ever reject it in the first place? I think it was more of a manageability problem, which, I heard you saying in the beginning, Jasmine, that's why I started MYAVANA, because it's a manageability problem. That's why we were trying to make our hair easier to deal with, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is the part where I want people to get excited, because again, we have a beautiful author with a wonderful book. If you haven't gotten the book, please check out the book. But we're actually going to give away one of the books as well. Yes. I can't hear anybody, but I know everybody's like, yay! That's why I paused. Like, everybody's like, oh my gosh. So I actually have picked a person because I've been looking at the chat, and this person, if you already have the book, because I think we've had one time before, someone already was able to, I think it was the hair care kit, because we do have 2 giveaways this time. So for my beautiful black hair, the book by Clair Detrick Jules, the person who will be getting this book today, it is, let me look at it. Drum roll, please. It will be Laura Pierce. Laura, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. I was just looking on Amazon. It's like, okay.
So you can get that for somebody else, but yours is coming, okay?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I look forward to reading it.
Yes, congratulations,
Yes,
Laura. Let's everybody give
congratulations.
Laura some congrats. Sweet, sweet, sweet. You're going to really enjoy this book. It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book.
Yes. Also, I wanted to say that I already bought this book last year for our nanny's daughter. Yeah, I already gave it to her as a gift. So when I saw it come up, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's
Awesome.
great. It's really good.
Thank you.
So Laura, if you can just message me directly, I need to get your information. If you send me your email, I'll follow up with you, and I will get your information so we can get this out to you. Okay?
Great. Thank you. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so that's the extra gift that we have for today. But before I share about the hair care kit that we're going to also give, St. Clair, I would like you to give us any parting words. Again, you told us about your book, and specifically on how you have come through this journey and what it's really meant for you, and what you would share with people in moving forward.
Sure. I think I would share first something that one of the women who I interviewed said, which is that self-love is an active journey. And I think that's important to remember, because we shouldn't be down on ourselves if one day we wake up and we're not feeling the self-love, right? If we don't like the way that we look one day, or if we don't like our hair one day, that's okay. It doesn't mean that we're failing. It's hard to really, really love ourselves. And so I think it's important to be patient and give ourselves grace when it comes to self-love. And then I think the other thing that I would say is I think especially as Black women, as Black people, our hair is a sort of tether to our ancestors and to our past, which for a lot of us in the diaspora has been really stolen and erased from us. But I think that there's so much power in our hair because it's a reminder of where we come from, of who we come from, of all of the strength and resilience that's within us, and also all of the joy that's within us, right? That's a
Yes.
gift from our ancestors.
Beautifully stated. Beautifully. I love it. Yes. Thank you for connecting those dots. And thank you so much for being with us here today. So we're going to make sure we connect people when your book comes out in September. We'll keep expressing the importance of your work. And thank you for doing this for Khloe. This is a beautiful thing, and all of the people that came together with you. So I love it. I love it. I love it. And you are actually, you said that you will be finishing your hair care analysis, right? Like, so you're going to be in that process for yourself, correct?
Yes, I sent it in. I did my hair and I sent it in.
Awesome. Awesome. So that will segue us into the Paula and Miss T. I see you off camera. Do you want to say anything? I don't want to overlook you.
I think you guys are awesome. I think you guys are awesome. That's
Awesome.
and when I go places and people come, I'm a startup founder as well. And so when I go places, and I'm engaged quite a bit in terms of people, asking me questions about hair, what do I do? And I always say to them, well, a good starting point is to check out MYAVANA.com.
Beautiful.
So, like I said, I think you guys are great.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate these startup founders. You're beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll just say again, I think you guys are great too. Piggybacking, I'm so glad that I found you all and am getting an opportunity to learn more. So I'm just here trying to learn more, love more, and do more self-care. So
Beautiful, beautiful. So, wow, that segues us into the giveaway. Here's the box. Okay, so this is the hair care kit. And for those who haven't received one or who do not know about it, it is a kit that you will take strands of your hair and you will clean hair. You'll put it in the bags that are available. You will put it in a self-addressed envelope, and then you'll ship it out to the lab where it will be analyzed. And the beautiful part of this, as we're talking about everything again with us, with our beautiful spectrum of hair and our textures and everything in between, it won't be to let you know what type of hair you have that's good or bad. It's to explain and let you see what your hair and your hair state is all about. So the beautiful part is that it's customized for you using AI technology, and then it helps you connect the best products to your hair so that when you're in the store, you're not looking at like 90,000 different things and like, what should I buy? It's tailor made for you. What I do want to share with people is that it's a process. And as we've conversated today, what I've realized as I've gone through the journey personally, like sometimes we want to hurry up and rush through things. You talked about self-love and you talked about self-care. This is that experience. So MYAVANA gives you an experience. It actually is called Hair Nirvana. It's specifically to give you the time, the energy, like the everything that you need to give yourself the possibility of what can happen with your hair and acknowledge it, as opposed to, like we said, perm it, straighten it, relax it, do something else because we don't like our hair. So I would like to offer that for anyone who hasn't had this experience. It's an experience for you, and it will do some shifting in you and allow yourself to love yourself more. I am loving my hair, my own natural hair, so much more because I'm not afraid of it anymore. So with that being said, I did go through, and the person that won today, they have come multiple times. I think they're still on. She came in, and it's Nessa. Are you still here, Nessa? Oh, I think I lost her. Well, I'll reach out to Nessa. Nessa is the winner of our hair care kit. Let's give a congratulations to Nessa. Oh, it looks like she's.
Thank you. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, yay. Congratulations. I will message you and I will get your information so we can get that out to you. So, again, that is what we have for you today. So, I want to thank everybody. It is almost 8 o'clock. We typically go to the hour of 8 o'clock. What we are going to, thank you. What we are going to start doing, we're going to we talk about community building, and we're looking to start smaller groups. So be on the lookout for email and more information coming your way so that we can do this in smaller groups for specific groups, like if you're an executive or if you're a mother, if you are, you have a special needs child, you want to focus on your health. If it's something specific, we're going to look into if you are a business owner. So different things that you want to look at for your specific life and your specific needs. Because again, we want to be with you throughout the journey with your hair. And like St. Clair said so beautifully, it's not just about hair, it's about our life. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to be here. And what I want you to know that you're precious and you're special just because of who you are. And every month that you come here, I appreciate you. We appreciate you. And MYAVANA wants to support you in your journey, wherever you are, whatever stage of life that you're in, where we can. And if we can't, maybe we can connect you with somebody else. Thank you again, St. Clair, for bringing your beautiful story, sharing it, and connecting so many other people to this beautiful story.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you again, everyone, for being here.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Awesome. And Latanya, I see you. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out because I've seen your face before. So if anybody has any other questions, I will stay here for a while. Other than that, you have your Wednesday back. And thank you very much again for coming. And we look forward to seeing you. Excuse me. Let me give you the date. May 31st. Next month is May 31st. That's our last Wednesday of the month for May. So thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll stop it now.